trained them for 3 years. Don't it look like after being in intensive training for 3 years that they would have known how to act? I wish I had a witness. Now some folk been in the church long enough to know how to act. You've been testifying that you've been walking with the Lord all these years. You ought to know how to deal with some of the mess some of these people do. Everything that happened ought not to set you off.
Well, come on now.
I wish I had a witness.
Come on now.
Jesus had left them, but when he left them, they began to fall apart. Even Peter said, I'm going back to you. Peter said, I'm going to pick up my old habit. I'm going back to my old trade. I'm going back to doing some things that I used to do. And John and the rest of them say, well, Peter, since you're going, we going too. Isn't it amazing how people just seem like misery love company? And misery always finds somebody to go right along with. It can be 100 degrees outside. And you start a fire, somebody will back there behind up to it and warm up. Misery loves company. John said, I'm going to. Peter said, I'm going back and doing what I used to do. And so the Lord knew that something had to happen to the apostles in order to get them back on the right path. In order to get them back, look, in just a short period of time, after seeing Jesus feed 5,000 hungry souls and raise the dead, give sight to the blind, straighten up women's hands, unstop deaf ears, they went back to doing what they used to do.
Well,
how easy it is to return. God knew that he had to do something to them to salvage them, to rescue them from themselves. I wish I had a witness. You know, you stop pointing your finger and stop accusing others. You know the most dangerous person in your life is you.
amen.
Nobody else talked you into doing anything. You made it up in your own mind. You're going to do it yourself.
Amen.
As a matter of fact, when somebody tried to tell you different, you wouldn't even listen. You did it your own way. So now you find yourself in the predicament you're in. I want to tell you there ain't nobody's fault but your own.
Amen.
God said, I heard the preacher talking the other night about when God needed somebody to come down through 42 generations. He went to Abraham. Abraham couldn't do it because Abraham was a liar. Y'all ain't here. Abraham knew how to lie. He told them that Sarah was not his wife. He couldn't even use Noah. Because I heard the preacher say the other night, he said, because Noah knew that the first liquor store he'd get to, he was going to stop. Because Noah was a drunkard. Noah got drunk and looked upon his father's nakedness. That's in the Bible. That's in the Word there. So he couldn't use Noah. He certainly couldn't use Isaac. He couldn't use Jacob. Y'all going with me? But Jesus said, Lord, Father, give me a body. Give me 33 years and I go down and I redeem man from his sin. I wish I had a witness in there. God knew that he had to do something to intervene in man's present situation. Because he would soon self-destruct. 50 days after Jesus' crucifixion and had ascended to heaven, the text tells us that at the day of Pentecost, it had fully changed. Y'all with me? In other words, you can't do nothing until God gets ready for you to do it. See, so many times you try to get ahead of the Lord. Some of y'all trying to get ahead of me right now. But you can't get ahead of God. You got to do it God's way or no way. See, the problem is, my sisters and brothers, is that it's no problem for you to correct what your problem is. Either you're doing it too fast or you're too slow. One or the other. You can't get ahead of God and you can't get behind God. You got to get with God.
Amen.
Ain't nothing gonna change. There's nothing gonna turn over until God says it's time. Can I get a witness in there? Let me tell you something. You can't even take your last breath until God says it's time. Can't no devil in hell pluck you out of God's hand. Can't nothing change the destiny God has already set in your life. When the day of Pentecost had fully come, when God said, okay, the time is right. Okay, I hear it. I see all that you've done. The time is right. Don't you know that there is a day appointed for every one of us to leave here? Y'all ain't hearing me. Maybe that time is set. It's set in God's calendar. But you can't go until God get ready for you to go. You can't hurry God. You can't rush it. And baby, when God said, come on, you can't stop. I don't care. Can't no doctor reverse it. No medicine can stop.
Amen.
Can I get a witness?
Amen.
You can't prolong it and you can't terminate it. When God's word speaks, actions take place.